Hey everyone, welcome back to Haven Family Farm. Today we're going to do something a little different. As you can see, I'm out with the goats who are itching their heads on me here. And I've decided to add a little something to the channel. We have quite a few animals around here and we don't really show them in a lot of videos on the channel. A lot of it's kind of been equipment things up until now. We've done a few animal ones, but so we're going to start to add some of the animals in. Will you get off of me? This is Emma. See, trying to itch your head. Anyway, so we're going to start adding some more animal videos to the channel. Some of the pigs and goats and various things. So today's video, what I would want to talk about is kind of the process of choosing a goat and buying a goat. And these are just going to be guidelines. This is not an exact, how-to video or anything like that, but just some helpful tips. If you have been thinking about getting goats for a while and are a little bit scared of the process or not exactly sure what to do, we breed goats here, and we deal with a lot of first-time goat buyers. Will you stop it? So we answer a lot of questions. Oh my goodness. Go eat your hay. We answer a lot of questions all the time from new goat owners, people who have wanted to get goats for a while and they finally decided to do it. So we're going to make a short actual series of goat videos. This one's going to be sort of the process of choosing and buying the goat. We're going to have one about goat housing and pastures, and then we'll have a final video in the series about goat care. So if any of that sounds interesting to you and you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that button and you can look forward to those videos coming up. So let's get into it. And again, this video is about buying a goat or goats. So if you're not really interested in that, then I guess this video isn't necessarily for you. So but anybody who is, let's get to it. So the first thing you need to know about goats is they're herd animals. So what does that mean? It means that you have to have at least 2 of them. Now there are people out there that are going to leave comments or see this video and say, oh well, I have a pony and my goat's fine, or my goat stays with the dogs and that's fine. Well, I guess in some situations it kind of works out, but for us here, we do not sell a goat to somebody who only wants to buy one and does not have other goats. We just don't do it. So that's the first thing to know, is if you want to get goats, plan on getting at least 2. So that could be 2 males, 2 females, whatever. So that sort of brings us into the next point about buying a goat, is what do you want the goats for? Are you looking just to have some pets? Because goats are fun. Kids love them. Are you looking to do 4-H type things? Are you looking to supply your family with some milk? Goat milk is usually okay for people who have lactose problems. Not everybody that can't drink cow's milk can drink goat's milk, but a lot of those people can. So that's another reason that goat's milk has kind of become popular, as well as the soaps and lotions and of course the cheeses and things. These goats will not stop itching their heads on me. So do you want a dairy goat? Or are you looking to raise meat for your family or breed animals? So the first thing you really need to do is sit down and think about what your goal is for these animals. What do you want to do with them? And then from there, you're going to decide what your breed is. So once you've decided the purpose of the goat, then you can start choosing a breed. So we'll just talk a little bit about dairy goats because that's what we have here. So we decided on dairy goats in case we wanted to milk them or do the lotions and things like that. But we also thought about breeding. Again, being breeders, you need to think about who your end customer is going to be. So the first thing we did was we chose the dairy goat Then we chose our breed. These are Nigerian dwarfs. So then from there, once you choose your breed, so as you move forward, do your research so that when you start talking to farms and breeders, you're slightly knowledgeable about the breed that you've chosen. Now that doesn't mean you can't ask questions. You know, we're here to help. Other breeders and farmers are there to help you through the process. But try and figure out the basic things on your own. Don't, you know, email somebody and ask them about a breed of goat that they don't even sell. So understand the breed. You also need to understand the land and housing situation that you have available. So if you chose a full-size goat and you want to get 2 or 3 or 4 of them and you have half an acre to put them on, can you do it? You can, but you're going to be feeding them a lot of hay. And you know, for us, we like to rotate our pastures here. We like to have the goats out on grass when possible, you know, as much as possible. So think about the space that you have and, you know, the health of the animal. So that might make you have to kind of go back and say, okay, well, we really like this one, but it's really not going to fit with what we have available. So so now you've chosen your breed and you're getting ready to take the next step of contacting farms. So you need to decide first, do you want a registered animal or do you care if the animal isn't registered? Non-registered animals always sell for less money, but depending on your end goal, whether you want to breed or whether it's pets. We sell some non-registered animals to people that are just going to have them for pets. I mean, really, why pay more money if you don't really plan on doing anything with them? If you plan on doing any showing, breeding, anything like that, you're going to want to buy a registered animal. So consider those options as well. So once you've decided that, you're finally ready to go out there and start contacting farms and breeders. So what's the best way to do that? You can go on the internet and you can look, but I always tell people to, you know, in doing the research, does anybody you know have goats? Can you talk to anybody and get any input from people that have bought goats from certain farms? That's word of mouth is the first place you want to start. The second place that I would recommend is whatever, even if you're not going to register your animal, whatever the association is that would register that animal, ours are registered with the American Dairy Goat Association. So if somebody wanted to look for a dairy goat, you could go to the ADGA's website and they have a list of breeders. I believe they're by state. So start with your home state first. And I would start there. Look at those registered breeders. And then from there, look and see, do they have websites? Do they have Facebook pages? What kind of information can I get from those sources? Do they have reviews online? So that's where I would go. Then after you choose a breeder, or maybe you've narrowed it down to a couple, if you really want, feel free to reach out to that person, explain your situation, first time buyer, you want to make sure that you're doing everything the right way. Hey, can I come visit your farm? We do have people that before they buy, they come, they visit our facility here, they meet the goats, they see if they're going to be a good fit for them. So, you know, take some time and do that. Maybe visit a farm or two, and you'll be able to tell a little bit about how the goats are cared for and what sort of health the animal is in, and also pick up some knowledge about how to take care of them and how their facilities are set up. So now that you've chosen your breeder, you can decide, if you wish, to pay a vet to come and check the health of that animal if you're not comfortable with checking the health of that animal. That is something that you can do. Don't be afraid to ask that. Sometimes the breeder will have their vet come in, or you can hire somebody and get permission to come in and do that. We haven't had to do that in the past, but it's something that if you're very nervous about the health of the animal, feel free to ask that question. reputable breeders will not have anything to hide, so don't worry about that. You also want to check and see if you also want to check and see if your state requires any additional paperwork in the transfer of the goat, especially if you're buying out of state, because sometimes there will be paperwork required to cross state lines. So check into that. It's going to vary by area, region, state, so you want to check into that. You should have some sort of sales agreement or contract with the breeder that you're working with that sort of spells those things out. Also, again, the reputable ones will give you that clause in there that allows you, stop itching your head, that allows you to bring in an outside vet, but it will guarantee the health of the animal, things like that. It'll outline the payment schedule. Most people take a non-refundable deposit in the beginning, and then when the goats are ready to go home, if you're buying babies, when the goats are ready to go home, you would pay the rest of the balance. Of course, if you're buying full size that are ready to go, you wouldn't do the deposit thing necessarily. You would just pay for the animal. But look over the contract or just the seller's agreement. Some people don't get too awful fancy. We had contracts for a while, but we really don't need them. But we do have a seller's agreement. When people make a deposit, we have some things outlined on that for them to read and be aware of. So now that you've picked out your goat and you've gotten ready to bring the animal home, if you do already have other similar animals, sheep, or you maybe already have a goat or two at home and you've added a few, you want to make sure you quarantine the new animals that come in. Now, if you don't have any animals whatsoever on your farm, you don't really have to separate the ones that you're bringing in because they're the only ones there. But if you have other animals, you want to quarantine those goats. So what that means is just keeping them away from the other animals. It doesn't mean you have to keep them in this, crazy locked box where they can't get any air or anything like that. But keep them in a separate pen away from the other animals. And the length of time is going to vary a little bit based on how you feel the health, or what you feel the health of the animal is. So even if you've gotten a vet to check the animal before you purchased it, a lot of times the stress of the change of farm to farm, or if the goat was in a car for say 8 hours because your breeder was kind of far away, the stress of that move can cause certain things to flare up. Sometimes a little respiratory issue, sometimes a worm issue. So even if the goat is healthy when it leaves that other farm, just be aware that that stress of the change of environment can cause a few small things to flare up. So if that happens, you really don't want to be passing those things on to other animals. Or if you didn't have a vet check, maybe there's something else there that you're unaware of. So you just want to kind of quarantine that animal. It might be 4 or 5 days, it might kind of be 2 weeks. It just depends on the health of the animal and how everything works out. So I hope this video was helpful to you guys if you're looking for new goats. I'm sure I missed some basic things in there. This video is long enough as it is, so I didn't really want to keep rambling on too long. If you happen to watch this video and you went through the process already, leave your comments down below on things that I might have missed that might be helpful to new goat buyers. Everybody's always looking for some tips and information, so leave them down in the comments for me. Stay tuned, because in the future we will have, as I mentioned earlier in the video, we will have future videos, one about the goat facilities, your barn, your pasture, things like that, and we will have another one on basic goat care that would apply to goats no matter what size or breed the animal is. So stay tuned for that. I want to thank you guys for watching this video today, and I hope I will see you guys on the next one.